doing a fluid flush. This truck's got 170,000 miles on it. And I have the squawk. 3/4 shifts and 5 to 3, really bad noise. I'm doing this as a last resort. I think there's probably something wrong with the transmission.
Appears to be clutch material.
But I've been told that a fluid flush and the XL16 friction modifier, this guy here, it says the 6R ATF additive F. It's actually known as the XL16. I've been told that this could improve shift quality and remove that noise. In fact, there is a technical service bulletin that Ford has released for fresh rebuild or new transmissions that this is the fix. Now mine's got 170,000 miles on it, so there's more likely something broken, but we're gonna try it. So what do I have? I've got a filter with a gasket. I don't know if we'll use the gasket, but we'll definitely use the filter. I've got 10 quarts of fluid. I'm probably gonna pick up another so I can do one more drain and fill. I'll do one drain and fill, and then I'll maybe do another. We'll see. I've actually got the Dorman pan with the bung so that you can do a fluid change without having to drop the pan every time. They're known to leak. However, I've tested this one. It's non-leaking, which is great. Actually a really nice looking product. I would definitely recommend it. I'll wait to recommend it until after I know this works.
Editing G here, I do recommend it.
And I've got my pump. So I'm gonna pump a little fluid out before I drop the pan so that I don't get fluid all over myself and just hopefully make my life a little easier here. And that's it. That's all we got here. So let's get under the truck. Let me show you what we got here. And we'll grab a little impact gun as well. Been using the Hercules stuff. It's been treating me real well. Now, if you haven't, I'm sure you've watched other videos. I doubt that you'd come to mine first, but if you did, then welcome. Your fill plug right here. So my understanding is that this is also a dipstick. I haven't actually pulled this, so I'm gonna grab a wrench, get on there and twist this and see if I can get that. I'm gonna guess it's a 19. So let's pull the plug and see what we see. I see fluid. It looks brown. A is cold, B is hot as fluid expands. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick this thing in here. RIP maybe? Let's drain some fluid.
This step is not completely necessary, but it is nice to do. Instead of having 8 quarts falling out of the pan when you drop it, you only have 4 quarts coming out at the end. The fluid is really hot, so it is a good idea to do as much draining as you can. If you don't have a pump, you're going to have a bad time.
I got out a lot of fluid. Our little method of draining there worked. I need an extension cord. I need to get an extension. Fucking hell. It's been a long day. Uh-oh. Really not loving life right now. Oh no. Hell yeah. Trans fluid. Get your ass out of there. All right, that's loose, so maybe I can hold the pan up by hand and unscrew. Yes, I can. Making a mess. Oh, making a huge mess. Yeah. Big fan. Oh my God. That is getting heavy. All right, there we go. Now, slowly tilt. Perfect. I drained a lot of fluid out of there with the pump too. That surprises me. Obviously, you can't quite get enough out. It's pretty much out. I'm just being a... What we can do is carefully, yeah. Oh. Okay. That looks complicated and scary. All right, one thing at a time. Let's get this pan out of here and inspect it. You know, the magnet, it's got a normal amount of slurry on it, nothing too concerning there, but we do have this non-metallic, what I believe to be clutch material. Let me know what you think down in the comments. That's clean enough. I realized I misspoke earlier too. I said that that original trans pan was aluminum. It's definitely not aluminum. Obviously, since this was stuck to it. All right, so we got a new one of these guys. Let's put this thing back together. Maybe we try and install it like that. In the pan, like how it came out. Seems like it's gonna be really tough to do, but worth a try. Oh man, look it off. No, this. Alright, get one screw in. Okay. The way that the pickup sits in this pan seems a little odd to me. It sits like literally right over this. So, I don't know, I'm going to pull the drain plug off and just take a look underneath there. But that might be a problem. And I think I've actually seen somebody else comment on that before. We'll see, you know. Obviously, we'll find out pretty quick if it's not picking up fluid or something like that. All right, this thing's in place. Let's see if we can pull this drain plug. What's the chances that it's a 19? Very low. Oh boy. Chances are good. It doesn't look like it's completely blocked, so I don't know that I could capture that on the GoPro, but you'll just have to believe me. Yep. Yep. Okie dokie. So now we're going to fill this dang thing. So pump, we've got the XL16, which I recommend shaking up because it like gets kind of chunky and I think it settles. So you definitely want to do this, and you might even want to consider, which I might do, go set this in the sun to warm up for a little while, and then it will maybe get less chunky. So we'll do that. We'll set you right there in the sun, and we'll put that in after we put in, let's say, 4 quarts. My understanding is approximately 8 quarts comes out, and you can only put in 4 at a time. Since you're filling up the pan, you've got to start it, get some fluid back into valve body and torque converter.
This is where the instructions are a little unclear. What I meant to say is the truck needs to be running and up to temperature while you're adding the fluid. So you're going to add the first 4 quarts. You can have the truck off. It's going to start to overflow once you get past 4. And then you're going to start the truck and add the second 4 quarts with the vehicle running. And then you have to run it up to the 192 degrees to be able to check the fluid level correctly.
And stuff like that. And then you should be able to add another 4 quarts after that. The bottle and dispose of it. Because I have some left over from pulling out of the train. Just that. That's all you needed. Man, this thing moves fluid. Okay, now let's see if we can route this hose without making a huge fucking mess into the transmission. Ah, it's literally coming out of the pump. All right, well, that's full. Okay, so that's what they were talking about. They basically said, fill it, 4 quarts, that's 4 quarts, we found that. And then start it, then be able to put in another 4 quarts. Wow, that's hot. These pumps are fucking trash. This is how I'm attempting to not burn myself. A little bit of aluminum tape. It's a nice heat reflector. Basically where I'm at right now, I've checked the fluid with the truck up to temp, 200 degrees in the trans. We're at the bottom of the bottom of the B line, which is the second highest. So I think I'm going to add, while the truck's running, probably a half a quart, and we should be good. And then I'll add my friction modifier as well. So I'm going to do that. I'm not going to show you because it's literally the same thing I've showed you before. It's just running the fluid in. Post fluid change, final thoughts. I didn't show at the end because it was getting to be a pain in the butt. I filled, here's the final container right here. So there was 2 5-quart containers. You can see we've got 8 quarts that went in. I actually ended up draining just over this, a little bit spilled, but this is 250 milliliters, let's say 300 milliliters out of the trans after we were slightly overfilled. So I'd say, 7 3/4, 7.5 is probably the right number. Shift quality is great. I think we do have damaged clutches, but for now, it's shifting very well, so I'm going to leave it. I also utilized the XL16 additive. The instructions for this, they say to add 7 to 8 milliliters per cc, so that's what we did. We added 7. I've got 10 left over, so if I do this flush again, I can add another 7. So I don't know, I mean, the suggestion is to not add the whole thing. You know, you may be able to get away with it, but this is Ford's instructions on how to utilize it for the 6R80. That's what I would do. Okay, so I'm gonna probably end up doing another flush here in the future because, as you can see, if this is new fluid here, this is what came out of the trans, and this is what came out of the trans when I was draining it. So slightly more red, but still dirty, clearly. And this, I mean, this clearly looks like burnt clutches. But the hope is we can get it back to being bright red with another fluid change. So that's what I'm going to probably do in the future. Maybe do 1 or 2 more just to get the fluid nice and red. But that's all I got to say for you. See you next time.
All right, first drive after some fluid change in XL16. Shift quality, pretty good. Doesn't feel degraded, which is always a plus. Usually that downshift would have caused me that squawk noise, but I'm not going to count that noise out. To be honest, I'm expecting it. But wow. Huh. We'll do it a little slower so we get into 5th, because that's where the noise usually was. Let's get into 5th. Come on. There it is. 5th, 3rd. Nothing. Weird. Alright, well that's just a fluke then. Beautiful day out on the lake. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Nothing. Wow, and it's actually fairly smooth too. Like, I think, you know, relatively speaking, the shift quality is less clunky, more responsive even maybe. And the one big complaint I had before about this trans was at a stoplight when I was just like sitting still and like inching forward, the trans would kind of like have some like forward jiggle. Let's see. It does it a little bit. Yeah, there it is. But it's actually better. So my guess is with one more fluid change, or actually maybe even more than one, to get brand new fluid in there, that would actually be improved too, which is crazy. Just fluid change can change the dynamic of the transmission that much. Well, so good. So far, so good. I'm not going to record anymore and bore you guys. If I have any issues on my way home, I'll start to record. But if not, hopefully that's all you're going to hear from me.